Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Today's guest is a miniature painter enthusiast. He's an exceptional artist that creates miniature characters, but his inner strength exceeds the abilities of the warriors he builds. Everyone, please welcome Michael Barreda.
Wow, that was a really nice intro. Thank you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming on the podcast, man. I know this was a long time coming and it was a bit,
Yeah.
I guess, hard for you, but I really do appreciate that you accepting this.
Yeah, of course. I think when you asked me first, I kind of didn't know what I was going to come here and talk about. And I think I'm in a better place now. So I think it was the right time. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Before we get to your story, why don't you tell the Immigrant Nation where they can reach you if you want to promote anything?
You could check out my Instagram. It's Mike Newtype, all one word. That's pretty much it.
Why is Mike Newtype? Why did you choose that handle?
So when I started in the hobby, I started building Gundam models. And new type is like, I guess if it was to be compared to Star Wars, it's like the Jedi. So like new types were like exceptional pilots, and I just thought it was cool. I was surprised it wasn't taken. And it's easy to remember. Like, it kind of has a ring. It's funny because like people at work call me Mike Newtype, and my friends call me Mike Newtype. It's funny. But yeah.
That's awesome. How did you get into building this miniature bonhommes? I don't know what you call it. I just call it bonhommes in French.
So my friend at work, Wayne, one day, I showed him pictures of my Gundams, and the communities are pretty similar. A lot of the tools for each one, they go hand in hand. One day he's like, "Hey, have you ever painted Warhammer?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." And he brought me a miniature, and then I painted it. It was terrible. It was so bad. It was so bad.
It's your first one,
Yeah, right. So then I just put it away, and then I didn't touch a paintbrush for like 3 months.
Why? Because you were like so disappointed with your creation?
Yeah.
Wow.
But something drew me back to it, and I'm glad, because it came at a good time in my life. Definitely.
What do you mean by that?
I think I mean I was a drug addict, and I'm clean now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I was missing something, and I needed like a creative outlet. My job, it's like, I'm a facilities engineer, and I fix things, and there's not really room to like be creative. Like something breaks, you got to fix it. There's only like one way to fix it the right way, in most cases. Sometimes you could be creative, but I needed a creative outlet, and I didn't have one. And it was the best thing for me, really.
What was the drug of choice?
It's opiates.
Okay.
So started with Oxycontin. Do you want me to tell the story?
Hey, yes, sir.
Okay. So going back to high school, senior year, me and my friends, we had a friend who his stepdad was a cop. He hurt his back, and he wasn't working, and he gave his son a bottle of Oxycontin, Oxycontin 20 milligram. He brought it to school, and he's like, "I don't know what to do with these." And like, being a dumb kid, like I've never touched drugs by that time. We were like, "Hey, let's try it." And we all took one, and like, you know, I'd keep it in my wallet and I'd break like little pieces off. I'd take it before a class.
Mm.
And I noticed that, you know, I was more outgoing. I participated more.
Mm.
Um, you know, it like kind of brought me out of my shell. Um, yeah, man. And then I got hooked when I went to college. It was like, you know, it was the same thing.
Wait, when of course your friend brought this bunch of pills, right? Once it was finished, did you start buying?
Yeah, from other people.
Mm. But
Yeah.
before that, was there like an inkling that you could be a drug addict or an addict of that sort?
Uh, I don't think so. No.
Mm. And so, how long did it last from high school to?
Um, from high school to um, I would say like 2013.
Wow.
But it was bad.
Mm.
You know, um, I you know, I went to go see a psychiatrist, and you know, I told them that I had anxiety, so they prescribed me Xanax. And I was going through a real tough time. I wasn't happy, and one day I just like chugged the bottle. Um, you
The whole
know,
thing.
um, what's that?
The whole thing.
Most of it, but
Oh.
like enough to like, you know, kill myself.
Mhm.
Thank God for my sister. She saw me,
Mm.
and she called the ambulance right away. And I'll never forget, you know, um, the medic came in, and they came in with a cop, and like I'm so delusional, I'm so crazy that I thought that she was setting me up. You know, and I thought she was like trying to get me arrested, you know, and I'll never forget, she was like, you know, um, you you looked crazy. Like that wasn't you. You looked like a demon,
Mm.
you know. And then it was like they took me to the hospital. Um, they pumped my stomach out. Um, when I woke up, my mom was there.
Mm.
You know, she's just like, don't do this again. Um, so you know, I got back home. My dad's like, now what? Like, what do you want to do?
Mm.
I was like, I want to go to rehab. So I went to rehab. I was in a 7-day detox for opiates and Xanax.
Mhm.
And on the 7th day, I got a call to come down to the office because I had a phone call.
Mm.
They don't, you don't, in rehab, you're not allowed to receive phone calls. So I knew it was bad. I knew something bad happened. I answered the phone, and my friend told me that our best friend from college had passed away from an overdose.
Oh boy.
Um, yeah, and you know, he said that they wanted me to be his pallbearer, and I left against like the wishes of the doctor. I left, and you know, I went there, and like when I went to the funeral, the mom knew that I was like also like going through it,
Mm.
and she's like, please don't end up like him, like live in his honor, like don't let his death be in vain.
Mm.
So that really stuck with me. And then I was good, you know, I was good.
Yeah. Let me just go back a little bit. When you took the Xanax bottle and you said you were not in a good mentally position, what were you going through? What was what pushed you to take those pills?
I was really depressed. I was honestly like hallucinating.
Mm.
It's crazy because, you know, I got kicked out of college. I thought everything was going like wrong for me. You
Mm.
know, I was kind of like in that mindset that like, you know, like why is the world picking on me? Like, you know, and like that's a terrible mindset. That's not what it is. Like it is like what you make it.
Mm.
And to be honest, we had another friend that passed away. his freshman year in college, and I was like hallucinating, and I saw him in like a vision, and he said, come with me to this side."
Oh boy.
Yeah. And I just like a zombie, I just walked over to like my nightstand, I just chugged the bottle, you know.
That's heavy.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I've lost a lot of friends, man.
Mm.
It's no joke.
Oh, I can imagine. I have the addiction in my family too, and I grew up with, with families addicted, and I've seen people from like doing well business, had great job to like absolute zero.
Right,
That's
right,
why I completely understand what you're going through. I mean, I wasn't the addict, thankfully, but a
right.
family member was, and it was
What,
tough. You know,
what were they using?
it was in the Philippines, so it was. I think
Shabu,
it's yes,
Shabu.
shabu. Yeah,
Yeah.
shabu. Which is what is it? Meth or
It's meth.
yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
1 minute. Is your phone close to your computer
Oh
or
shit.
something? It's messing up
Yeah.
the thing. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So you mentioned family. How did
Yeah.
your family get affected by your addiction?
Um. He, and I was a monster. Everyone was walking on eggshells around me.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, I was getting into fights with everyone. I was leaving the house, not, letting my parents know where I was going. I would
Hmm.
just disappear for a long time.
What is long
Um,
time?
like a day, like a
Hmm.
full day,
Okay.
overnight, like overnight.
Hmm.
Um, my mom doesn't really like when you sleep over someone's house. She wants you to come home.
Immigrant's
Um,
mom.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I was I didn't care. I didn't care about anybody. I would do whatever it took to like get get my fix. Like it
Hmm.
was just like um I don't know.
The phone is still. Sorry, the phone is still doing the signal. If you could maybe put it under the table.
I'm gonna put it over.
All right. I'm sorry.
No, no. What about now?
Yeah, for now it's better. Thank you. Yeah, so you said you were a demon because of the drugs. When you were going through the addiction, was there like a day or a moment you're like, this is not right what I'm doing here?
I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, there was times where, I knew like this wasn't me. Even like when I went to rehab, I remember thinking that like I saw everyone in there and I was like, this is not me. I thought I was better than those people, which is not the truth. I was just as bad as all of them. You know, it's like you rationalize like just be, if anyone ever said they're like what's the word? They're like a functioning addict.
Mm,
That's bullshit. Like there's no such thing.
mm,
It'll always catch up to you. Um, but yeah, it was tough. But luckily, I was able to turn my life around.
mm,
After I got out of rehab, my brother-in-law, um, he lives in Jersey. He was like, "Hey, I could get you a job in Jersey, but you gotta be good, like clean, and
mm,
you gotta stay with me during the week."
mm,
And I was like, "Sure." So he got me a job as it was an HVAC technician for a data center,
mm,
and you know, it was it was good. It saved me, you know, to a point. And then this guy got hired and we worked together. And one day he was like, "Hey, do you mind taking a ride somewhere?"
oh, here we
Mind you,
go.
I've been clean for I want to say like 3 years.
Mm.
Um, he's like, "Hey, do you want to take a ride?" So I was like, "Sure." We were on the clock. I was like, "Whatever." He drives to Patterson, New Jersey.
Mm.
If anybody knows Patterson, it's not,
Not the best place.
yeah, exactly. Um, and he picks up from some guy, and he gets in the car, and like in like 2 minutes, he breaks out this bag. He like has this routine, and he just snorts this thing.
Mm.
I was so confused, I didn't even know what it was. And he was like, have you ever done heroin? And I'm like, no, I haven't. Um, and I know it's like an opiate, like,
Mm.
um, so, you know, I tried it.
Mm.
And then what became like, it just became a routine. Like we'd work together, we go to Patterson, and like we pick up. Um,
At that moment, what made you try it?
I guess I was still missing something. I have this habit of like seeing doctors, getting prescribed medicine, and then like antidepressants and anti-anxiety stuff. And then when I'm good, I like jump off the medicine, thinking like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm good. When that's
Mm.
not the case, like you're good because you're taking medicine.
Mhm.
Um, I think I was just missing something. Um, and I thought I could manage it. I
Mhm.
thought I could do it like here and there.
Mm.
Y- you know, it's I don't know.
So what happened when it became a habit and became an addiction again? What happened to the job? What happened to your life?
I was still working. I was still working. I was really good at covering it up. Um, and then I was dating someone else at the time,
Mm.
and we broke up. And when we broke up, I got clean. Um, she was, I don't want to talk bad about her, but I felt like she was like enabling me.
Mm.
She used to use too. That's why I
Oh.
was like, yeah. Um, and then I started seeing my my wife now.
Mm.
Um, I started seeing her, and I don't know. I just she made me want to stop. You know,
She
uh,
became your drug.
she became my drug, and I
Mm.
didn't want to lose her. I my wife, I met her in middle school,
Wow.
and we dated all throughout middle school and high school.
Mm.
And then freshman year, we dated a little bit, and then we broke up, and then we came back together. So like I've known
Wow.
her for like half my life.
Meant to be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, she's my rock.
What? Did she know that you were a drug addict?
I told her, we were at the gym,
Mm.
and we got in the car, and I broke down, and I told her everything.
Mm.
And she was so supportive, and she didn't make me feel bad. She didn't like shame me. She was just kind of like, what do we do now? Um, so after that, I started seeing a doctor, and they prescribed Suboxone. You're familiar?
No.
Yeah. So it's like a drug that it attaches to your opioid receptors,
Mm.
and it makes it so like you can't, if you do use, you can't get high. And you take it every day. And I was on that for a while. Um, and then things were looking up. I moved to Jersey City, and she moved into financial district.
Mm.
We were there, happy couple, things were good. And then um, our leases were up, and we moved in together. Um, and it kind of worked out. Um,
Amazing. And since then, you haven't used.
no,
How long?
I want to say like 7 years.
God bless, man.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you fight the demon every day?
the craziest thing is like, honestly, I do take medicine. I do
Mm,
take like an antidepressant and like a mood stabilizer.
mm,
Um, and part of it, the reason why I went to drugs is like I think I was like self-medicating. Like I
mm,
think I was like I had something that I didn't get, diagnosed. Um, and I was self-medicating. Um, I think now that I'm on medicine, like I'm even. You have bad days, but I'm even.
mm,
Um, I'm not, I'm that and then also like I like my life. I really do. And like I don't want to mess it up. I like where I'm
mm,
at, I love
uh,
my wife. I love my family, you
mm,
know. I love where I live. I really like my job too.
mm,
And then also, painting miniatures. That's, you know, it if I had I don't know, I can't say for certain, but maybe if like I discovered like miniature painting when I was using, I would have, I don't know, maybe have been able to, you know, get off the drug sooner.
mm.
Um, I yeah, I can't say that. Um, I could honestly say that I don't crave it anymore.
I'm happy for you, man. That's I
Yeah,
know it's hard.
yeah,
It's it's just that darkness. It's like the darkness of the darkest of the dark.
yeah,
It's just a cloud in the house that lives in just
right.
like you said earlier, like people around you is in eggshells. Because you
Yeah,
never know. One minute Mike's the greatest guy ever. The
right,
next minute he's a goddamn demon.
right. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody's like dealing with anything like that, go get help. Like, go get
Mm,
help. Go see a doctor.
mm-hmm,
You know, it's this is not look. I can't speak for everyone, but this is something that you can't do alone.
mm,
I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's so much easier when you have people in your corner.
mm-hmm,
And that was another thing too. I had a great support system. You know,
mm-hmm,
you know, everyone around me. No one really made me feel bad about it. They knew it was a problem.
mm-hmm.
I know that's not the case for everyone. Um, but yeah, if you could see a doctor, see a doctor, you know.
Definitely. What strategies or resources have you been using and the most helpful through your long recovery?
Um, like exercise
Hmm.
and staying busy. I have a lot of hobbies.
Like
You,
what?
I like to go to the gym. I like to run. Um,
Hmm.
I like to play video games, uh, miniature painting, and then I love movies and TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
I watch everything and then I'll watch a breakdown video of what I just watched, you know.
What a nerd. I love it.
Yeah. So, what did I miss? I knew that was important. Like, so
That's funny. Let me just ask a little bit. Your parents are, what's your background? What's your history?
yeah. I kind of wish we started with this first,
Oh,
and then got into the heavy stuff. But
mm,
yeah. So yeah. Um, my mom is Filipino, my dad's Cuban.
mm,
Um, in 1974, my grandpa was working for the U.S. Embassy in the Philippines.
mm.
Yeah, he was a CPA. Um,
Yeah, the number guy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he was able to apply for his visa to come here. So he came here in 74, and then in 76, he asked my grandma to come by herself.
Mm.
My grandma's like, I guess that's like a common thing where like, people leave the Philippines and they just send money to their family.
Yeah.
Uh,
The brown tax.
yeah.
the highest tax of out there.
Right.
That's a joke.
Yeah, she wasn't having it. She had 6 kids, my mom, and the 5 brothers and sisters. And she's like, I'm not coming unless everyone comes. So she came with everybody.
Mhm.
They came to Elmhurst, Queens. Um, and they lived in like a small apartment building. And then they kind of just like, built themselves up from there. My grandpa opened up a store, and
Mhm.
he was still working, and then he opened up a store. Everyone used to work at the store. Yeah,
What kind of store?
just like a convenience store.
Like bodega.
Yeah, bodega.
Oh, okay. All right. That's cool.
Do you call it bodega in Canada?
Oh no, there's no bodega. It's called like dépanneur.
What is it called?
Dépanneur.
Is that a Filipino word?
No, it's a French word.
Oh,
Well, in Quebec, Montreal, where I'm at,
got it.
that's what they call it. But convenience store,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, that's. But if you're in Quebec, they call it dépanneur,
right,
or what's the other one? Like some French word. But yeah, yeah, that's a. We don't really have like a bodega. I love the New York bodega because you
right,
walk in, because it
yeah,
reminds me of the stores in the Philippines that you just like you walk in and it has everything,
right,
like
right,
nails,
yeah.
uh, everything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not a lot of people have cars. I mean, they do have the subway, but you don't want to travel far with stuff, you
Mhm.
know. Uh, it was convenient.
Yeah,
hence,
exactly.
hence the name.
Okay, so your parents are immigrants, right? And immigrant parents have this different mentality. They put a lot of pressure to their kids to
Yeah,
succeed because we came here to
right.
succeed, not to fool around.
Uh,
Did that added to your pressure and addiction to your towards your addiction?
um, I don't think honestly, my mom wasn't that bad. I know what you're talking about. My
Mhm.
my mom wasn't. My mom was cool. Like I don't know. She didn't. Maybe it was because she didn't put pressure on us.
Mm,
Maybe that's why. But I mean, we were good kids. Like I was getting good grades, I was
mm,
class president. Like I was doing my thing, you know. I She didn't really put that much pressure, you know.
mhm,
Yeah, so I'd probably say no. I
mm.
don't think.
That's great to hear. But when you're going through that darkness, how was the family towards you? Were they supportive? They're like, Mike, come on, man, get your shit right, bro. Or was it like, Mike, get the out of here?
Yeah. No, they never kicked me out. It was, you know, how are we gonna beat this? You
Mm,
know, how I don't like saying the word like beat, I think a lot of people want to beat things. I think that's not the right word to use. I think
mm,
it's like learn how to manage,
mm,
because there's some people that never beat it. But if you could manage it and you could find ways to, stay healthy and get around it, um, I feel like for some people that's like the better option. It's like, can you hear the sirens?
not really.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, so like I think learning to manage is probably the better term for it. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, they were supportive. They were very supportive. They were a huge part of my recovery.
mm.
Definitely.
Great to hear that. Is there like a time like a time of the day? I know you're always been busy and you're doing these beautiful, great things and you're surrounded by people, but addiction is always going to be there, like you said, right? Like
Yeah,
you cannot kill it. I call it the demon in the basement.
right.
Once in a while, you go down and you be like, "Yo, what's up,
Yeah,
homie? I'll give you a 10 in
yeah.
the face today,"
Yeah,
And then the next day, maybe I'll let you in for a little bit, but
right.
you gotta like continue it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, was there a time sometimes you'll be like, "Ah, man, I miss it."
Um, I No, you know what it is? Like, I never want to go back to that life.
Hmm.
I have, I can't, you know, I don't want to lose like the life I have now. I mean, when I say I've been clean, I don't mean like clean, just clean from like hard drugs.
Mm.
Um, I do drink
Okay.
socially, and then I do smoke marijuana.
Mhm.
So, but not a crazy amount. Usually it's just like before bed to fall asleep. Um,
That's not drugs, by the way.
thank you for saying that. Yeah, yeah.
It's,
Some people,
I never counted. Even when I was growing up in the Philippines, I never counted. I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
it's a plant. It's not drugs.
right. Is it true that like the penalty for like having weed in the Philippines is like super crazy? Like,
You're gonna be in jail for the rest of your life.
yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like you could get like a stick,
Right,
and it's for you. You're not selling it.
right, right.
You're going to jail. Well, prison if you're lucky.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Like, and everyone said a lot of people smoke. I grew up. I don't like smoking weed. I don't like drugs. Like I said,
right,
there was drugs in the family, and I was like, I don't want to do anything. I smoked weed, yes, but I
right.
never enjoyed it. It's not my thing. I love
Yeah,
smoke. I do drink socially,
right.
but yeah, it's not my thing. Like, it's
I hear
just,
you.
I mean, I grew up with shabu, like seeing
Yeah.
shabu being
Mm-hmm.
sold by kids and everything.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I told myself, like, I will never ever do drugs ever. I've seen drugs in front of me, being like my friends will do drugs in front of me,
Right.
and I watch them. And some of them, thankfully, some of them are nice. They're like, "Hey, get out of here, bro," because
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
want them to me smell. They don't want me to smell the whatever there. I guess
Right.
extra whatever. And but I was like, I just want to see it. I'm never gonna do it, but I
Yeah.
just want to see it. But that's one. Thankfully, that's why I don't have that one.
That's great. That's
You
great.
know, I'm lucky. I don't have that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do get into things.
Yeah.
Like positive things though. Like
Yeah. What are your hobbies? What do
my
you
hobby. I have a few like
Oh,
you.
basketball?
Basketball, obviously.
Yeah.
Cycling. I
Ni-
love like going like long distance cycling. Like
Nice.
we're talking about like 100 kilometers, like that.
Mhm.
Uh, I do podcasting. It's my thing. I recently I got back in coaching basketball with my son. So that, and I haven't done it in a while because again I'm super busy and especially in the summer. But I recycle paper.
What
Like
in
used paper, I'll recycle them and make like notebooks
oh shit.
and whatever about them. And then I'll put by buying on it.
Um like newspaper you said?
No,
What
well, yeah, depends. It usually it's like this white paper
yeah, yeah.
from the office, like shit like that. So
Right.
I'll process them and then I'll recycle them.
How'd you get into that? That's
I,
I've never heard of it. That's
ah,
cool.
thank you.
Yeah.
It's just I remember when I was young in the Philippines, I saw this show and they were recycling paper. I'm like, I like that shit. Maybe I'll do that, But I never ever
Yeah.
did it, like ever.
Yeah.
And then last year, I don't know why I was like, you know what, dude? Let me make some. Oh no, because I wanted to do by buying. You know what by buying is?
No.
It's the old writing style in the Philippines.
Okay.
So
Is it like similar to calligraphy
it
or
is calligraphy Filipino style.
okay, cool.
This is like pre-colonial,
Nice.
pre-Spanish and everything, right?
Nice.
And so I was like, I wanted to do it, and I have kids. So I was like, I wanna make something for the kids, for my kids. And I said, oh, I'm gonna do it by buying. But I said, okay, cool. I could write in the paper, but there's
Yeah.
no like extra. I want some sparkle, I want some
Right,
punch.
right. Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm gonna recycle paper, and then I'm gonna put the by buying on it, and that's what I did. I started making it,
Awesome.
and I made some for my mom. Excuse me. I sold some. I sold some pieces to some friends. I sent some. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say once I have my stuff, I'll send you some.
Nice. Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah. So that yeah, I just enjoy it. It's very zen like. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
the same feeling when you're painting your guys,
You
you
get
know.
into like a flow state and you
Yeah,
just, yeah,
it's
it's
just like do the thing, and you're just like, you're not thinking about work, you're not thinking about whatever else. You just, I want to make the best colored or paper
right.
or whatever you're trying to make, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's one of my things. And working out, it's,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love working
I
out.
see you. I see you on Instagram.
Yeah, I try. I do it in the base.
Nice.
Well, I got injured, so I haven't worked out in a while. But I need,
Yeah,
that's which kind of sucks because
yeah,
it kind of threw me into a loop of like, I love my routine. Do you have a routine?
yeah. Wait. Oh, you said I love my. Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
me and my wife have like a pretty good routine.
How important routine to you?
Uh, it's it's really important. If I don't do it, I like something's off, and I
Mm.
don't feel like myself.
Hmm.
Um, it's crazy. So, when we moved into our new apartment, we were looking for a gym, and there's a 24-hour fitness that's a 5-minute walk from our apartment,
Mm.
and we signed. So the what we did was, instead of buying like two memberships, one for me and one for her,
Mm.
we got one membership, and she gets a buddy. So it's her membership, but she can bring somebody.
Mm.
So every day after work, we go together, and it's the only way I can go. Like, she could go, without me, but most times, like, we pretend like we could only go together. So on a day that I don't want to go, she'll be like, "Hey, no, I want to go." I'm like, "Okay, I'll go." So it's a really cool way to kind of keep each other in check.
Mm.
It's really funny. But then on the days where we both don't want to go, we're
Yeah.
like, let's order food. Let's get dumplings.
Let's be fat.
Yeah, let's get tacos. Uh, no, but it's cool. So on average, I would say we go like 5 days a week. There was a stretch of days where we were going like 6 days every week.
Wow.
Um, and the physical aspect is great. I love it.
Mm.
But the mental part, man, like the clarity, like
You
when you
can't.
feel, yeah,
You
can't
can't.
beat that.
You can't. If you can bottle that thing and sell it, you'll be richer than Bezos.
Right, right.
It's insane.
Yeah,
But I do love working out, and I do like the sense of accomplishment. But I think my favorite is cycling.
nice,
Cycling is, that's my drug.
nice.
It's just like when I go for 100 kilometers, like there's
Mm,
hills and hills and hills, and I'm half dead, and there's a few more
yeah,
kilometers, and it just like, it pushes me to a certain level, and it makes me mentally stronger. And
yep,
it's funny, even though you're dying, and I always tell myself, this is gonna end. There's no way it's not gonna end,
yeah, exactly.
because if it doesn't end, what, I'm just gonna sit here on the side of the road? It doesn't make sense. Yes, I can call my wife, pick me up. That will never happen,
Right, right.
obviously. A few years ago, I think 2 years ago, I fell. I smashed my body. I fell
Wow.
off the bike. I didn't call my wife. I biked like 50 more kilometers.
How'd you fall? Like,
I was fooling around. I was like with my buddy, and I was like tried to grab him. I was grabbing the handlebar with my left hand, and it was like in a weird position. And I tried to grab my body, and I wasn't paying attention, to be honest. And
uh-huh.
I just like slammed my body, slammed my head,
Yeah,
and the funny thing was, I was better than my friend. My friend was panicking,
right,
and
right.
I was just chill. I'd like to think that when there's something emergency, I'm pretty chill. Like, I don't
Nice.
panic.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, so I didn't like. He's like, "Oh my god, we have to call your wife. We have to call your wife." I'm like, "Bro, chillax. I'm good, dude. I've been through worse." And so yeah, I bike, and I said, I'm not gonna call my wife, because if I call her, she's gonna panic. She's gonna pick me up, and I will never bike again.
Oh man, that's great.
You know.
you said your routines, is your routine important to you?
100%.
What is your routine?
My routine is I wake up in the morning, do my morning stuff,
Yeah,
and
because
then
you're up, like we're like messaging each other at like 6:30, 7 in the morning. I'm like,
yeah,
damn, he's up.
5:30. I wake up
Yeah,
5:30.
yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
5:30. I go down. When, of course, I'm injured. I haven't done working out, but tomorrow I'm gonna try to push myself a little bit. Yeah, so I'll work out. While I'm working out, my kids are getting ready for school,
Hmm.
and then during the workout, I have to stop to make sure that I see them out the door. Say
Right.
bye, tell them how much I love them, even though it's
Yeah.
not true. No. But yeah, so and then after that, I'll go back. Once I'm done my routine, I'll do some stretches. I'll do some yoga, I guess, if you want to say that.
Nice. Yeah.
And then I'll do some prayers.
Nice.
I do meditate, and
That's awesome.
then I'll pray, and then I say three things that I'm grateful for.
Wow.
Whatever that is. It could be like, oh, thank you for Mike for
Yeah.
spending time with me and having conversation, or whatever it is. Thank you for the sunlight, whatever it is.
Hmm.
And then I do some breathing exercises that helps a lot,
Nice.
and then ready to go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How long does that routine take roughly?
From waking up,
Yeah.
I'll say about maybe 2 hours. No, 6:30. No, I'm lying. Maybe almost 2 hours. Almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Let's say.
That's great. That's awesome.
I like, if like now I'm kind of in a not so good place
Right.
actually,
Right.
because I couldn't do my workout normally.
Yeah.
So I'm like, instead of, because what I love about working out is I have to do. It's not even a question of like I should do it. It's just like, oh, if I wake up, I'm gonna do the thing.
Yeah.
If I don't do the thing, I'm like, oh, you're. If I don't have routine, I am lost. Like, I am
What
lost.
what do you notice like w when you're not in your routine? Like what like suffers, you know?
Um, uh, Nothing really suffers like my family. I always make sure I take care of. It's just
Right.
it's mostly for me personally. Like,
Yeah.
1 minute, I'm really like to the T, dude. Like, there's certain time I have to do that same exact thing,
Nice.
and I'll be like, oh shit, well, I have time. I'm gonna shower later, and the next thing you know, like, oh, I need to shower now. And I don't like that.
Right.
I hate it. I hate that feeling. I feel like, I'm not being productive. I'm
Yeah.
not being like I'm not a child. I want like,
Efficient, I think, might be it. I hate rushing. I like to be ready for things. I hate rushing, you know.
100%.
But I'm not. I do it. I do it all the time. Like, you know.
Not me. I always like give myself like at least 15 minutes or even 20 to do something. Like, I
Nice.
want to like just like, okay, decompose, and then let's go.
Right.
Things like that. Do you have a therapist right now?
Yes. Yeah. Actually saw him yesterday.
Hmm. How
Yeah.
often do you go?
Every 3 weeks.
Every 3 weeks. Okay, good.
Yeah.
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 Do you go often, sometimes, usually?
I'm sorry.
Do you go more than once every 3 weeks sometimes?
Um, I mean, unless something severe, unless something severe happens where I feel like I need to see him, but for the most part, no. If I have a question about like there was a time where I had a new doctor and they prescribed me something and it fucked me up. Like, and I was like doc, I can't take this. I'm having such a bad reaction to it. I was getting sloppy at work. I was making mistakes. I was like, we got to change this. He's like, yeah, okay. But yeah, for the most part, you know, every 3 weeks. Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot that question that you asked earlier that said, what do you notice? Another one that I've noticed is I get into this funk of like, I don't know if it's depression or whatever, but I get like my energy goes down and I get melancholic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I need that routine. I need that, that's one important to me. I wish I knew that when I was younger. My God, man, that
Yeah.
would have helped a lot.
Yeah.
Because I usually get that like this, how it is. Like you get into this like
Right.
rut, yeah.
You just, yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on here, bro?
Hmm.
Today I was like, yo, you gotta wake up, dude. Hey, yeah, I spoke to myself. I'm like, yo, hey, we gotta do something, bro, because there's something wrong here. We need to do something.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to do that. I also do I try journaling, but I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
tough. It's real
it's
tough.
it is tough.
It's tough.
Holy garbage. I even do like the 5 minute journal. Like I
Right.
just put, bro. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Props to anybody who journals every day. That's tough,
It's
man.
amazing, yeah. But
Uh,
I do like audio journaling.
okay.
So what I usually do is if something is bothering me
Hmm.
and I cannot get around it for some reason,
Hmm.
before driving to work, I'll record myself talking.
Nice.
And I'll be like, yo, dude, well, what's going on here? Like,
Uh-huh.
well, this is what's bothering me. And that helps me a lot. And one of my therapist, she said, I think you need to talk to work yourself out of your rut.
Uh-huh. Oh, so you see a therapist too?
I used to, but not anymore, because she's like, you're good. Come
Yeah.
back when you're not. I'm like, all right, okay, I guess.
Uh,
But yeah, but therapy is
yeah.
life saving.
Do you listen to those audio like journaling, or do you just, it's just to kind of like say it out loud and like get it out of you? Or do
Mhm.
you actually like go back and listen to like what was going on?
No, I say it loud, and I move on.
Yeah,
Because
nice.
like I said earlier, like most of the time I figure it out.
Right.
I'm like, oh, that's what's bothering me. Uh, I don't know why, but that's my process. It's so
Yeah.
weird
Uh-huh.
because I'm very, even though I have the podcast, I'm very private.
Right.
I'm not
Yeah.
a type of person that like rants at people, like
Yeah.
like, oh Mike, dude, oh my God, work
Yeah.
this and that. I don't like that. I feel like, dude, you have your own cross already.
Right.
I don't want you giving my. I don't want to give you my cross.
Yeah.
Though I get it. Yes, a friend does that, but I
Mhm.
don't know. I guess that's one thing I need to work on.
Yeah. I do. So going back to like my routine with my wife,
Hmm.
um, it's a 5 minute walk, and on that 5 minute walk from our apartment to the gym, we say everything that's bothering us, and then
Hmm.
like I had a shitty day at work. This annoyed me, and we'll go. It's funny, like we go home, and you could kind of tell, like we both kind of had like a stressful day, and we're like, "Do you want to go?" Or let me go first, and then you go. You know, and we'll just say it, and then we'll work out, and that's it. We won't talk about it, after
Wow.
that, you know.
You got
Uh,
an angel, dude.
she's amazing. Yeah,
Holy garbage. She's amazing.
yeah. I'm very lucky. Um, I I think um I don't know. She If it wasn't for her, I don't know if I'd be where I am now.
Hmm.
She's somebody that you want to like be the best version of yourself for.
Hmm.
Um, I remember when we first started dating again, she worked for this company called New York Cares. It's like the biggest like volunteer organization in the city.
Hmm.
And I was trying to impress her, and I was volunteering to all her program. I'm like walking dogs in Brooklyn. I'm doing bingo in like some project building in like Harlem. I'm like, yeah, I love this. Whatever. I mean, I did so many. Um, but yeah, but I'm glad I did, because that shit feels good. Like giving back,
Hmm.
acts
It
of
is.
service, acts of service, man. Like,
Yeah.
it can't be all about you. You got to give back.
100%. I know. Like I wish I could do that. I mean, I could probably, but I'm lazy, you know, like I try if what I do is I try to save some stuff and then send it to the
Right.
Philippines,
Nice.
send
So
money,
buy in box. What
balik
is it?
buying box. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Nice.
like my mom is leaving to visit again. So I send her like so much stuff.
Nice.
And then she's like, okay, we'll give it out to the kids, you know, or whatever, the neighbors.
Yeah.
That well, I don't know if it's volunteering, but I volunteer as a coach in this house basketball league.
Yeah, man.
So
That's volunteering.
yeah, I guess so. But my friend was like, my friend's an asshole. He's like, well, would you volunteer if your kid wasn't there? I said, no, but still, I'm volunteering.
That's funny.
You
That's
know, I'm like,
funny.
hey, listen, I love coaching, but it will be hard for me to coach when my kid's
Yeah.
not there. You know,
Right. Yeah.
maybe when they're older, to be honest, because I do really enjoy coaching.
Right.
You know, I learned so much about myself and about being a better dad because of coaching.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's cool that you get that time with your son. Um, that's awesome.
Are you planning to have kids?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Nice.
Um,
Are you not afraid that maybe
the
they got the
gene.
demon?
Um, nah, I'm just hoping they get more of my wife than me. Nah.
That's what we want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
But I feel bad. I said I talked about my mom and I want my dad to listen and I kind of want to tell his story
Of
too,
course, yes.
him coming here. Um, so my dad leaving Cuba, he came here in 1980 during the Mariel boat lift. Jimmy
Mm.
Carter was president and like he
Come over.
yeah, exactly. Fidel Castro was like, "You want Cuban so bad? We'll give you the worst of the bunch." So like, gave us like criminals and like, he gave like gay people and then like mentally, challenged people.
Mhm.
So I don't know how true this is. I don't know. My dad's just joking, but he said like he grew an afro. He wore like big platform shoes and like tight pants, and he was like trying to play off like he was gay. Um,
Just
you
to
know,
escape?
just to escape. I don't know. Maybe he's just kidding, but that's what he told me.
I don't blame him. I'm sure it's half true.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So he got on a boat and
Wait, what kind of boat are we talking about?
like I think it was like a regular, like it was a pretty big boat.
Okay,
Not
okay.
yeah, yeah, no, it was I think it was like a United States like boat. It definitely it was an
Okay.
American boat.
Mhm.
So they came from Cuba and then uh they were going to Key West.
Mm.
And my dad said that as soon as they saw land, so they thought that like they were gonna hit the soil and then they were just gonna be free to go. That
Okay.
wasn't the case. When they landed, um, he actually before they touched land, he jumped off the boat with like three other guys and swam to shore because like something's gonna happen. Like we're not gonna make it.
Mm.
And as soon as he made it to the beach, Coast Guard picked him up. They picked up everybody on the boat
Mm.
and they took him to a refugee camp in Arkansas at a Fort Chaffee, I think it's called.
Wait, from Florida to Arkansas?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
crazy, right? And then it's funny because like when I first heard this story, I got like these roles reversed. So in the refugee camp, they would give them like yard time, and I was told that like there was people lining up outside of the gates and they were throwing rocks inside.
Mm.
The actual story is that there was KKK members they were like circling the yard on the outer gate, and the Cubans started throwing the rocks. I'm like, yeah, that changes everything. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's funny, man. Damn Cubans. Have
Um,
you ever been to Cuba or your
yeah,
dad been back? Yeah.
yeah. I've been there like 5 times. The last time I went, I think, was in 2017. But like when I was in school, high school, we would go like almost, I don't know, like every couple years we'd go.
Mm.
because when my dad came, he was the only person in his family that was here. It's way different now. A lot of his brothers and sisters, all my cousins are in America, but you know, like 15 years ago, he was the only one in the States.
Mm.
So if he wanted to see his mom, he had to go back, and before that, he came here when he was 18. He didn't see his mom until like I think I was in kindergarten,
Mm.
you know. I mean, that's crazy. Imagine just like being away from your family for so long and like, you know, uh,
Yeah. My mom was like that.
yeah,
She left to work in Hong Kong for every 2 years. I was 8 years old. 2 years she'll work and then come back for a month, and then
wow,
she'll do that. Like, so the first time she did that, first time she left was I was 8. The first time I spent a whole year with her was I was 21.
right, wow, that's
So it
crazy.
was, yeah. So I grew up without mom.
Where's she now?
Well, she's here in Canada. She's the
Nice,
reason why we're here in Canada. She's the
nice.
goat.
When did you've always when you left the Philippines, you were always in Canada?
Yes, I haven't moved.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
my families are here, so I don't think I'll ever move. I love
Right.
my family.
Yeah,
I see my family every weekend, so
nice.
I don't
That's
think
awesome.
it's gonna happen. I'm very close with the family.
Yeah,
I'm sure you too.
yeah, yeah, for
Do you see
sure.
mom and dad often or no?
Yeah, they live in Long Island. I live in Queens.
Mm,
Every couple weeks I'll go there for the weekend. Um,
nice.
More often in the summer, but yeah, all the holidays we spend together.
Mm-hmm. That's
Um,
beautiful.
yeah.
Let's go back. Let's talk about your miniature painting. I didn't know this is a game. I thought you just like painting for the fun of it.
Oh. Yeah, so it's a tabletop war game. The figures that I'm painting are like squads. They're
Mm-hmm.
like five, guys with machine guns, five guys with rocket launchers, a captain, and it's pretty cool. Each squad, each model has a points value. And like the standard game is like 2,000 points. So you build your army around that. Better units cost more money, not money, cost more. Well, that's actually true. Better units do cost more money, but they cost more points. And yeah, it's basically like chess, but um,
But nerdier.
but nerdier, 100%. Yeah,
I
it's
know. I was looking at it last night. I'm like, what is this craziness? This is like, it's cool and nerdy at the same time.
yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
mm,
COVID, I don't know, man. Like since COVID, like the hobby's blown up. There's so many people in the hobby now. I go to my local hobby store in the town I grew up in. I was there last week, and
mm,
you know, when I was first going to that place in like early 2020, they had a small section of like Warhammer figures, paints, and stuff. It's like half the freaking store now. It's like so big. And
mm.
I asked him, I'm like, hey, how are these, how are they selling? He's like, I'm making so much money on it. I'm like, that's great. That's
That's
great.
awesome, man.
Yeah, it's
Well,
cool.
I mean, COVID, right? People get stuck. They're probably
Yeah,
looking for a hobby.
right. I mean, it's the perfect hobby,
Mm,
and a true reason why. So yeah, I know you said it earlier, but like, I'm pretty introverted, so like this is the perfect hobby for that,
mm,
you
mm.
just, you know, you just,
I, the characters, are they plastic? What material are they?
yeah, it's polystyrene, it's a plastic.
So when you buy them, are they like built already? Because I know Gundam, you have to fix them up.
Yeah, it's like Gundam too. You gotta build it. Um,
Oh.
yeah, you gotta build it. They come in pieces. Some people like the building aspect, not, I love the painting. If I had an option to have already built models and all I had to do was paint it, I'd love that. The
Mm.
building side, like it feels like a chore to me. But you know, the painting's where it's at for me.
Do you sell your items, your products?
I haven't. A lot of people ask me that question. Nah, I haven't. It's funny, you know, I like looking at it. It's funny, like I'll paint something and I'll like put it on my nightstand and I'll just like look at it. Like you know, I made that.
Mm,
But I certainly would. Um, I'll be honest, like I don't know a lot of people. I know a lot of people from like Instagram, but I don't know a lot of people like nearby that are actually, you know, that play the game or paint. There's a few, but like, you know, they're all painting their own stuff.
mm.
You
Is
know,
there a rule to paint, let's say a character, I don't know, like a robot?
yeah.
Is there a rule for you to what's the color or whatever, or is your decision?
So you could, you know, they call it like a homebrew where like you could pick your own colors, you could make your own chapter, you could make your own lore. Or you could paint like an established chapter, and then you know you paint the colors. Like I play Blood Angels, that's the guy that's your background right now.
Mhm, mhm,
And they're like a melee forced army. They, you know, they like to get in close and you know, chop people down with like chainsaws, and you know they're really like aggressive in your face kind of like play style. And
mhm,
there's, you know, my first army was the Ultramarines, which is like, I like to say they're like a Swiss Army knife. You know,
mm,
they're pretty good at everything, you know, long range shooting, mid range shooting, you know, melee, they're good. And you know, it's a great army to start off if you're playing. And then yeah, each chapter has their own rules associated with the army.
mm. When did this game started?
Oh man, it's been out for a while. I think they just had their 30th anniversary.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, it's been around and it's come a long way.
This is one thing I love about this podcast. Like I meet like certain people that they're obsessed at things like you,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
obsessed at this art. I'm like this thing exists. I didn't I didn't even know this thing exists.
yeah. It's pretty niche. I mean, it's cool, man. If you look at the old stuff, like all those models are hand sculpted. There, you know, there's a guy that sculpted one, and then they created a mold, and you know, now it's all like computers and stuff. It's all
Yeah,
made.
3D.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever thought of doing that, like creating your own army through 3D animation, 3D
You think?
printer?
Yeah, I mean, um, I've looked into, it's so crazy. 3D printers are like pretty cheap now.
Hmm.
Um, I'd love to get one. But everyone who's into it, they've said like, dude, it's a hobby on its own. Um, and right now I don't want to take away from the painting side because like I feel like I'm on a roll. Um,
Hmm.
Eventually, like, you know, and also like I live in an apartment, I have a cat, you know, there's fumes and like it's all kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Um, but eventually, yeah, definitely I'd like to um buy a 3D printer and experiment with like, you know, creating my own stuff.
Hmm. Though I've never said like, hey, I think you have enough.
Um, yeah, she's pretty supportive. I mean, she's pretty
Mhm.
like, you know, it's like a joke, you know, but at least I think it's a joke. You know, but yeah, she's pretty supportive of it because she knows that like, you know, she knows that this makes me happy, and you know, it's like, you know, I'm not doing anything bad. I'm just here painting, like nerding out, you know, and like she didn't have to worry about anything, you know.
Hmm.
So I think she sees it as like a, you know, like a good creative outlet for me.
Yeah. And worst come to worst, you can sell your bonomes and make money off of
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
has
Yeah.
anyone ever approached you and say, "Yo, Mike, paint my guy"?
There was I painted a couple like D&D figures for friends. I used to be in a D&D group at
Why am I not surprised?
I wasn't, I'll be honest, like D&D is really not my thing. You know, I think it's cool, but like you have to be an actor, like you have to, you know, me, I'm like, uh, you know, I'm like a numbers guy. Like I don't want to have to like act like, like whimsical and shit. Like, you know, I can't, I don't have it in me.
Well, you're
Uh,
like your grandpa's a numbers guy,
yeah,
so
yeah. So yeah, I painted a couple D&D figures for, friends and family. But what was the question?
I said, have has anyone asked you to customize
Oh,
their
yeah.
guys?
So there was a time like when I first got into the hobby, somebody asked me to paint their army and I declined. I said, you know, uh one, I feel like a lot of people say this when they come on your podcast, but like
Mm.
one, imposter syndrome, like,
Mm.
it was definitely a case of that. Like, why does he want me to paint his army? I'm like not that good.
Mm.
Um, that was a factor. And then also, you know, I was doing my own thing. I was just getting into the hobby and I wanted to paint the shit that made me happy. But
Mm.
maybe in the future I'll start doing commission painting. The one thing that I'm afraid of, and like Instagram kind of, like, there was a time where I was like, you know, trying to produce to post on Instagram.
Mm.
Um, and I wasn't really happy. I was kind of rushing paint jobs because I just wanted to, like, every 3 days I wanted to post a picture of like something I painted.
Mm.
Um, it felt like work. And like, once something feels like work, it's not a hobby anymore. And
Mm.
that's what I'm afraid of, by doing commission paintings. You're getting paid for it. You're painting, you're painting something that's not yours. Like, you don't get to take it home or play with it.
Mhm.
um you know I work all day and then I'm going to come home and work some more. I mean, so that's my thought on it. But like in the future, like, when I've developed a technique that's like quick and they're not asking for something crazy, maybe like if somebody wanted me to paint a character for them, which is like, one captain or something, or like one squad, yeah, I would do that. That's
Mm.
cool.
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, you enjoy the process anyway.
yeah, yeah,
Might as well make money on the side,
yeah, yeah, yep,
But yeah, yeah, I mean, but I understand you being an artist, like you got into it not because of money, you got into it because you love doing it,
right, yeah,
but yeah, try to explain that to people. They're like, why don't you make money off of it?
yeah, yeah.
You know?
I think like you can see my cabinet in the back, right?
Mm.
It's pretty full. I think once it gets completely full, and that's not everything. I have more like behind me. I think once I fill everything, I might start selling like maybe my old armies. I'll hold on to, like, the first one I painted, but like, you know, maybe I'll start selling off some stuff to like make more room for new things.
Mm. They come in a box, right? How many
Yeah.
in the box?
So if it's a character, it's one in a box. If it's like a tank or like a robot, it's one in a box. If it's a squad, depending on the squad, it'll be in groups of 10, 5, sometimes even 20.
How much the minimum price of a box?
So on average, a squad costs like $50. So like,
$50.
yeah, and a
That's
character,
a lot of money, dude.
it's a lot. It's crazy. Um,
50. My wife would have
yeah,
killed me, bro.
yeah. It's a lot, man. I mean, they call it, people in the hobby call it plastic crack. It's just like, and they have like Games Workshop. They're the company that, like, that makes these models, that makes Warhammer.
Mm.
They have a really great business model. Every couple of weeks they release new models, and like
Yeah.
they're promoting them, they're selling it, they're sending them to influencers, and like they're painting them, and you're looking at them, you're like, oh man, I want that. It's just, it's crazy, man. They really have, like, I don't know, they make so much money.
Oh yeah, I can, bro. Like a box is fifth, bro. That's a
Yeah,
lot of money,
yeah,
man. And they
yeah,
probably
yeah.
made it in China for like a
Right.
dollar.
So I try and rationalize it, like the amount of hours that I am enjoying it.
Mm.
So I'm like, say something took me 10 hours, right? Um, and I paid $50 for it. Um, what is that? 50 bucks. That's I don't know. And then I'll work out the hours. I'm really not a numbers guy. That was, but do you know, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'll equate it to like, you know, how much was this worth hourly? How much time did I spend on it? Oh, it's worth like $5 an hour. Okay, I
Mm.
could reason it out. I mean, it's all rationalizing. It's all like, you know,
This
convincing
is
yourself
a
that,
this is
yeah,
rationalization of a drug
yeah,
addict, to be honest.
exactly. I'm telling you, man.
I've
No,
heard this math before
yeah,
from my
yeah.
neighbors back home, those drug addicts.
Yep. It's okay. It's okay.
It's,
Yeah.
it's okay, right? I mean, 50 and then 10 hours. I was so happy. It's good. It's good.
Oh man.
But hey, man, this is a positive thing.
Yeah,
And you
for
seem to
sure.
love it. You know, your wife supports you. And that's what matters, right? It makes you happy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Um, it's cool, man.
yeah. Anyways, bro, I think we're there. And I want to say thank you so much for doing this and opening up. I know that was hard,
Yeah.
but you open up and I really do appreciate, man.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It was tough, man. I was really nervous to come on here, but yeah, this was really fun.
Amazing. Before we go, do you want to promote your Instagram again if you want?
Yeah, sure. You could find me on Instagram at Mike Newtype. Yeah, of
That's it. Again, Mike, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it.
course.
Have a good evening.
Cool. Hey, you too.
Bye.
Bye.